Hello. Hi, cousin. Is that Dana Zimmerman? Hi, Broadway singer. Hey, Bruce. I'm playing one of Tamyra's biggest hits on American Idol that people still know her from. And louder, me. All right, no yelling. Hey, you guys, I'm so excited. You guys are all here. Toby Gorman, what the frick? Hi, cousin Dana. Bradley, hello, everybody. Hello. I'm so excited you're here. I see Caesar's here. Hi, I'm a nurse from New York City. I write songs. Do you collaborate? I've been known to. I'm not a lyricist, though. I only write music. But talk about songwriter, singer, I mean, everything. Hello, there's my mother. Hello, mother. Talk about everybody. I mean, like this girl, I love this girl with all my heart. I've known her since season 1, but we've done many shows together. Please welcome the beautiful, the talented, the Tamyra Gray, as the program is called. Here she comes.
Hello.
Girl.
How are you?
So good, not really in every way. Nothing really to speak about or mention. Good.
Oh, why do I love you so much?
Look at how gorgeous you are. Where are you? You're like in this beautiful, like, looks like a movie set.
I'm in my renovation condo for the time being.
Oh, that's right. Renovating at home. So
Renovating at home.
You're at a little temporary home.
Yes, indeed.
This is my temporary home.
This is it. How are you?
Hi, sweet girl. I'm so happy to see you. You know, I loved reading all the comments of all the people that were so excited about seeing you. First of all, I will start with, because I remember this from season 1. Everybody thought you were going to be in the finale. Listen, nothing against Justin. I couldn't love him more, and I know you guys are so close. Everybody from season 1 is so close, and we all suffered together when
Right?
when Nikki passed, you know, recently. But I know you guys are so close. But I remember everybody going, Kelly and Tamyra are the finale on this show, and I mean, you must have felt some of that stuff going on.
I mean, when it happened, the funny thing is that the week after I finished, I said, I'm going home. Like before it even happened, I told the producers, I said, I'm going home this week. And they were like, no, you're not. I was like, no, I kind of feel it in my spirit. And some people are like, you brought it on yourself. But it's like, no, I do have my guides who like to talk and share things with me. And that week, it might have been the fact that I was losing my voice and I'd never sang in front of anybody hoarse, you know, and so I didn't feel like stamina wise I was going to be able to keep it up. And even to the point where, you know, Randy had asked me to sing Vision of Love again. And, you know, when I sang it as my audition song, I had good vocals at that point. But by that point in the show, my vocals were no. Yeah.
I mean, nobody understands, and I try to tell people that want to audition for these shows, like A Voice and Idol, you will never sing so much in your whole life and career as you do in those 12 to 15 weeks on that show.
No, you won't at all. And unless you do Broadway.
Well, when you do Broadway and do 8 shows a week, that's your whole life. You can't do anything else.
You can't do anything else. But back then, we didn't have the training. We didn't have the wherewithal. We knew nothing. Like, it was just like, even in Broadway, unless you're doing Tonys, you don't work that hard.
Right.
You know, like you're not doing interviews upon interview upon interview, back to back to back, then doing a live show. And then after the live show, if you make it through to the next week, you get to go to sleep that night. Then you start work on the next song the next day when you wake up, if you get a full 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah. No, like the whole week you barely sleep. I know what it's like, but I will tell you, so I'm always curious to talk to people from season 1 who, when they auditioned for this show, it was never done before. So nobody knew what it was going to be. Nobody knew about and is, you know, mean and is direct and all that stuff. How did you even come to audition for that show?
Oh, so growing up, there was a show called Pop Stars, and
Right.
I made a promise to myself that if they ever came up with a solo version of Pop Stars, that I was going to audition. And it just so happened that I was in New York working on a Coca-Cola industrial with one of our dear friends, Becky Lithgow. That's the first time I met her. And I was staying over a friend's house, and this commercial came on the TV and was like, "Do you want to be a superstar?" And I was like, yes. You know, and so I Googled, well, we didn't have Google then, but I looked it up to see when the audition was going to be, if it was going to be in Atlanta, because I was living in Atlanta at that point in time.
Oh.
And then if it not, I was going to come all the way back to New York and audition there. So they were having auditions in Atlanta. We were having a bit of a hurricane that day that the auditions were. I got up super early in the morning thinking that everybody was going to be there. All of my friends who were singers, I tried to get them to come and do it with me. Nobody wanted to do it with me.
Wow.
My then boyfriend at the time woke up with me and stood in line with me, but they kept us in the rain the entire time until doors opened. And I went in there, I was listening to all the amazing singers sing, and I was listening to and seeing everybody who was getting cut. And I was like, I'm gonna get cut, because obviously they have an idea of what they're going for, and singers, big voice singers, aren't that idea. So I was just like, I'm just gonna sing my song, and if they like me, they like me. If they don't, well, I tried, you know, I'm gonna keep on trying. And so I got through that first audition, and then the next audition was like a few weeks later. Or was it a few weeks or a few days? I'm not sure. And that's when we met the judges. And it was crazy. I think we were at like Fernbank in Atlanta. And again, they were getting rid of amazing gospel singers. And I was just like, this is nuts. My dad came with me on this one.
Yeah.
And so I went in there and sang my song, and I was just ready for them to say, "You're cut." And they were like, "You're gonna go to Hollywood." And I was like, "What? This is awesome."
And so what about, did you, what did you think for the judges that first time? Was it the Mariah song, or that was,
I sang, no, it was Vision of Love and I'm Telling You.
Wow. So that's crazy. And so, you know, years later, Randy would go, why would anybody sing a Mariah song? But you obviously sang the crap out of it, and it was acceptable.
Mariah was and is my everything. Like, when I heard that woman sing and she was writing her songs, I was like, so you can do this, you can be a singer and you can be a writer and have those vocals and write those great songs. And, you know, it gave me a new sort of inspiration. Like, I loved Whitney Houston, and I loved singing to Whitney Houston songs, but Vision of Love, it changed my whole perspective of the industry.
Yep. What about, so what was your experience like singing wise or writing wise before Idol happened? You obviously sang and all that stuff, but what was your thing?
So I had been in and out of studios since I was 13. So we started this trying to get a record deal journey from the time we moved to Atlanta on my 13th birthday until I finally got an opportunity to do American Idol. I did I did pageants and I did talent shows. So the first talent show that I did that had like a big nationwide audience kind of a thing was Hal Jackson's Most Talented Kid. I think it was, do you know that?
I've totally heard of it. I've heard of it.
So I did this pageant, and it ended up being crazy. My mom ended up taking them to small claims court, but it ended like, that was the first thing that I was like, oh, I'm totally gonna be able to get this, and I'm gonna go to the Apollo and I'm gonna sing, and then that didn't happen. So then I learned about pageants, and of course, growing up, I watched Miss America, and again, I big visions, big dreams, was like, if I can get on that stage and I can sing, somebody will give me a record deal. So I need to do this. So I started doing pageants in the Miss America system. And then I became Miss Atlanta, 1998. And I went to Miss Georgia, and then that flopped. So I didn't make it to the Miss America stage. But I had been working with so many different people trying to get a record deal.
Wow.
When American Idol came around, I had just parted ways with the producer and production company that I was working with Lisa, the late great Lisa Left Eye Lopez from TLC.
Wow.
And so she had my sister and I signed, and our group was called Silhouette. And back then they weren't trying to do duos and,
Yeah.
always just ahead of your time or a little behind your time,
But
one
that's
or the other. That's always been, kind of the thing that I've come across or up against. But,
yeah.
never one to be deterred and always, moving forward and looking at everything as, hey, it's just preparing me for whatever's coming next.
Yep.
So I've kind of always.
There's so much to say though about you had that passion to do it, and you were you obviously your family supported it and all, and wanted it for you too. Like that says something to me. Like when I see kids and they go, I don't know if I want to be a singer or I want to go to law school. I'm like, you need to go to law school. You obviously knew I want to be a singer and a songwriter. I want to be the next Mariah Carey. I want to do that. That's possible.
I wanted to do so much. And, I think it shows with all the things that I've done, since getting an opportunity to be on American Idol.
Yeah, we're
I
gonna talk
think,
all that, because I mean, TV, movie, writing, Broadway, and three Broadway shows, right? Am I wrong?
no, you're right.
I remember when you did Bombay Dreams. I was not in New York for it, but I did come see you in Rent, and
Yes, you did.
of course I saw you do, the last one.
Uh, and I cried when I saw you, bawled my eyes out when I saw you, because the whole story of everything. I stepped away from everything to be a mom and to raise, my son
Yeah,
and to be there for my family. And when I stopped Broadway after Rent, I said to myself, I'll come back once he graduates high school. I don't know how, but once he graduates high school, I'll be back. And it just so happened that 6 months before he graduated, I booked my first national tour of
wow.
If Then. And what's funny is that how I put myself back into my favorite, most amazing casting, Bernie Telsey and company. They have been amazing champions, and they've booked me on just about every Broadway show or tour I've ever done. For the Wiz, open call. And I was like, I'm ready to go back to work. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go to that open call and I'm going to stand outside and I'm going to say and put my face in. I know I'm not going to get booked for Dorothy, but hey, you're going to see and maybe you'll say, oh, she's back out and get a job. And that's exactly what happened. I stood in line with everybody else on the street
Oh
and
my.
was like, I'm ready to work again. And it was such a blessing when I was able to go on that first national tour of If Then.
That's great. I remember when you did that. And then, but Once on This Island was the most beautiful thing. I was so proud of you and so excited to see everybody in it. Was amazing. Of course, Leia Salonga and
Oh my
all the
goodness.
people. But, honey, and then, of course, before the pandemic happened, you were embarked on the first national tour of this revival, new
Yeah.
inventive way. And what happened?
Sorry, the connection cut out. I missed what you said.
I said, what happened?
What happened on that tour? COVID.
COVID happened. COVID happened.
COVID happened.
Somebody just said you would kill as Angelica in Hamilton.
Oh, thank you so much. I have yet to get that role.
All right.
Auditioned, but I love it. It's fun.
It is fun.
It's super fun.
So,
But
honey,
I had doing once was a we're connection issues.
yes. Yep, I see. You just like went a little fuzzy to me, but now you're back. Am I back?
Yes, you're back.
My friend Keo, definitely. Wait, are we all back? Can you hear me? Can you see me?
I can, yeah.
Okay. So what about wait, go ahead. Continue what you were saying.
I was saying that Once on This Island was a dream role. Like, for me, it broke down every barrier of anything because it was a gender swap. And I got the opportunity, first off, I love anything scary, and to play Papa Gay and to have all this power and all of this thing. Like, it was first off, Michael Arden is genius,
Yeah.
not genius. And to get to build, Merle did such a fantastic job in the Papa Gay that she created, and she's so super sexy and so super tall. And I was like, yeah, I can't do that. So we're going to have to go a completely different direction with my Papa Gay. And I went with I love those kind of characters. So to be able to play something dark that's not this cutesy singer or Brahmin and Bombay Dreams, or this awesome person in If Then, but this the demon, like to play the demon, something that none of us really have any reference points to, but to get to create it all was absolutely a dream. To come up with a new voice and talk like this and make all these fun choices. Like, it was amazing.
I loved it so much. What about so you moved to New York, obviously, for that, and that wasn't having like some issues or something with your apartment or something.
I mean, so I have been very blessed in my career, and this was the first time that I had to find my own house and place to do the job. And so I thought it would be easy, and yeah, I came across one place that was just so bad. I got a sinus infection the first night I slept in it, and I was still in rehearsals. And then I couldn't find a place, so I was hotel hopping for a second.
Oh my!
And then then I found lease. What is it? There's this leasing short-term lease website that automatically just popped up one day, and I found this amazing apartment 3 blocks from the theater for a great price, fully furnished, and that's where I lived for the duration.
Wow! And it worked out. It worked out. Honey, now what about, I want to know about, I know you wrote many songs. Are we out again with each other?
We were for a second.
Okay. So I know you've done so much amazing songwriting. And of course, one of the biggest, I know you wrote a song with Kelly Clarkson on her first album. Mm-hmm. And I know so many things. Of course, that the #1 song that you wrote that with your hubby, your talented hubby.
I did, yeah.
That was Fantasia's single called, which literally at least 10 more people have done it on the show. Every year, somebody always did, I believe. And it was one of my favorites. That bridge.
Yeah. I believe in the impossible. Yes.
Yeah, my favorite. But I probably could play it in any key now because of doing it so much on Idol. But God, so how did that all come about that like Fantasia recorded it and it like went to the top of the charts for you as a songwriter?
So I was working, 19 had become my label, and they had told me that they were looking for the song. And my husband Sam and we did the majority of my album, my album together. Yeah. So Simon asked me would I like to try to write a song for the winner, and I was like, first off, really? And second, yes. Yeah. So, I having gone through the experience and being a dreamer all the time and wanting and knowing what it feels to be in that moment and to be wrapped up and to be so close to your dreams and so close to the rest of your life. Yes. My husband and we sat on the beach in Malibu and we looked at all the kids playing, and I just started to write the verse. Wow. Have you ever reached a rainbow's end? And did you find your pot of gold? And looking at all the kids, have you ever catch a shooting star? Like, these are all the things. Like, yeah. I love magic and I love fantasy and I love all that stuff. I love anything that reminds you of the innocence of dreaming for the first time. Yes. Because that's the thing that I think captures us all in the beginning, just to want to pursue the things that make our hearts swell. Exactly. So I just started to those just came out of my head. And then he then my husband came in and he wrote the second verse, you know, and then we both collaborated on the bridge, and it just fell into place. And we did 2 songs, and the second song was called Through It All.
Yeah.
Which to this day is one of my favorite songs that never ever got released.
Really?
And we submitted it, and we submitted it silently. We didn't tell any powers to be that I was the writer until it was necessary. So when Sam and Louis, Louis Biancagnello is also the other producer on the song, who is Sam's partner. When they submitted it and we got the call that we got it, I was just like, oh my gosh. And you know, to this day, I didn't know it was #1 until like a couple years ago. Because I never heard it on the radio.
What about the checks you got from BMI and ASCAP?
Well, I did get the checks, but I was just like, well, this is awesome. But, you know, I recently in the renovation and packing everything, I found the billboard that said #1. You know, and he always reminds me, he's like, you're a #1 songwriter. And, you know, it just never, never hit me that that had happened.
Yeah, and so just to interrupt for 1 second, I love this boy. Anthony Fedorov just said hello to both of us, and he said that voice, meaning you, not mine.
He's my favorite.
I love him.
I love him. We've done so many great projects together, and #America is going to be amazing.
Okay, I know all about that musical.
I know.
And I can't wait. And I'm going to have that boy on my show soon. I'm getting to everybody. I don't care. And I have a little something in the works that maybe even be fun and more big, whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't want anyone to go, oh, you haven't called me yet. I'm second thought. I'm like, no. I love every one of you guys like my kids. So let me just go back to the first time when we all met. Of course, Deborah Bird had called me in to come in for a Burt Bacharach week because she knew I knew every Burt Bacharach song. And I can't believe that I told her I couldn't come that day when she called me because I had promised a friend something, which is another story. And I didn't want to back out on her the night before. So, and she said, don't worry, call me back. And it's all about follow through now. And I always tell people, you got to follow through. When someone says, call me back, you got to
call back.
I was not good at that. And I was like, okay, just so you know, Deborah, you call me back anytime and I'll be there. And of course I came to the finale, and then we went to, because the show became so fast, so big, so fast. As a matter of fact, my friends, Amy and Wendy Engelberg, who are television writers, are the ones that were obsessed with you. And when I said, I told her that I got called, and she goes, hey, you have to call, you have to go work with Tamyra Gray. I mean, they were like, they were beside themselves. So anyway, it's all about the follow through. But then the show got so big, so fast, we all went to Vegas to do like a big reunion.
The Vegas special.
So now, how do you recall all that? I mean, that was.
It was my first time in Vegas, so I will never ever forget the time in Vegas. Not only had I never been to a casino before, but I was completely innocent and naive to everything and that takes place with a casino. We woke up so early in the morning, and I was stuck on stupid with the people who were sitting at the what do they call the slot machines with their cigarettes and their drinks, and I was like, didn't you go to bed? Like, why are you smoking? And I don't have a choice but to walk down here because we were staying at the MGM, which is massive. And I just was like, it was a shock. Like the whole thing, Vegas was such an experience and so much fun. It's like we just got to prolong, you know, the whole thing, doing crazy videos and then getting to do the Vegas shoot. Then we had the Christmas special. Like it was just like, you know, it just kept going. And then we did the tour.
All right, so tell me about your tour, because that was the first one. Was that huge like all the other ones were? I mean, they weren't organized yet.
They weren't organized, but they were sold out. They were full on. Like, I wish that I was more of a partier. I did all my partying before doing Idol. So by the time Idol came, I was all about less work, you know, and I didn't have, I missed out on so much sightseeing and stuff because I slept all day long until the show. And I'm very strict on vocal preservation. So vocal rest at the end of the night, especially since after Idol, I had to go through to a speech pathologist. I had to learn how to talk all over again because I couldn't stop my voice from going hoarse
Yeah.
because I had overused it. So that scared me because I wasn't sure if I was ever going to have my voice again, you know. And so I was very, very, very strict on my regimen and on tour. But it was so much fun. Like we had.
I can't imagine. But my favorite, I did not see that tour, to be honest. I don't know why. I should have. Maybe I think I was already starting like on the auditions for season 2. But say that I always loved going to the tour afterwards because you guys all, like from playing in those huge arenas and those big, huge stages, you guys learned to, I mean, it was not on a little stage anymore with people screaming for you. It was now thousands and thousands of people.
Yeah.
And always like perfected the art of performing, like from doing that show. That was like the biggest thing. And I always say the only difference between Idol and every other show was that Idol did care about all their people having an afterlife.
Oh my gosh, that was everything. That's what made it so successful. And that's what I believe got everybody so excited about taking part in the show, because they did exactly what they said they were going to do. Who wants to be a superstar? We're going to make you a superstar, period. That's it. This winner is going to go on and do great things. And they lived up to their promise. You know, it didn't matter, especially in the beginning, it didn't matter if you won or not. You know, if you took the opportunities that came your way, then you had a career, you know, and for me, that's what I wanted. I wanted a career. This, you know, it had been a dream for so long. I wanted to walk in my dream. I wanted to, you know, I had been given the opportunity to sing on the biggest stage in the world, you know, and it was just like, okay, you know, what do you do with this? Okay, so I'm gonna, here are the things I want to do. How many things can I check off this list? You know, and they were coming fast and furious, you know, to the point where I started to be like, okay, wait. You know, we have to get some focus. I have to get some focus because I'll say yes to everything. Yeah, because that's what I was taught. Say yes to everything and then think about it. Oprah told me that.
How did Broadway even happen? Like when you did Bombay Dreams, was that obviously because of you were known from Idol? I mean, that was your first theatrical thing?
That was my first theatrical thing. And I'm pretty sure, you know, I'm still really great friends with my director from Bombay Dreams, Tom Caruso. And
I love it.
He's so great. He's so great. And I think Bombay Dreams came also after I did Boston Public. So I think that somehow, some way, people were talking. And so the interesting thing about Bombay Dreams is that when I went in, I was like, I don't have a Hindi dialect. You know, it's like, they're like, come and use a dialect. And I'm like, I love dialects. I don't know if I'm going to be very good at this one, but, you know, I'll try it. And I sat down and met with the entire creative team and did my audition. And I didn't even leave the room before they told me that I booked it.
Wow. That's amazing. But wait, Boston Public happened. That was a Fox show.
Yes.
Did that obviously happen because you're tying with Idol and Fox and all that and knowing all those people?
So I am a very curious human being. And I think there's still parts of me from my childhood that is still super, super loves to ask questions. So when that audition came, I was in the room with David E. Kelly. And I was, you know, that thing where I said I wanted to do everything and everything was happening. And I had only done, before American Idol, I had done some regional theater. I had done this show called A Family Affair and this other show called Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places. And these were like my first theater kind of experiences.
Right.
And I was sitting in the room with David E. Kelly and I asked him, I said, I've never done a TV show before. What makes you so confident that I can act and I can do this? And he said it was from watching me do A House Is Not a Home.
That's everybody says about how beautiful and dramatic that was and what you did in that song. Everybody still talks about that song.
And you know, the funny thing about that song is that it was there. If you could have been inside of my head in the conversations that were happening during it, and all of the fears and the everything that was
You
happening,
used,
and
you used,
most of it,
you
I
used,
used everything.
I
But
know.
the biggest thing was that I was so afraid of how my family and the African American community were gonna like my version, because Luther's version is so iconic. And
Yes.
that's the only version that I'd ever listened to growing up. And, you know, Bird and I, Deborah and I, we had this whole conversation about, you know, like, I'm not familiar with the original version of this song. How can we combine
Yeah.
everything that I know about this song and the good bits that I love to hear and love to sing on this song? How can we add that and make it me as well? You know, and so we worked on it and worked on it. And I'm pretty sure up until the night before I went on stage, like, we finished the ending,
Wow.
because it was like we couldn't figure out how to end it. I couldn't figure out how to get the key changed the way I wanted it. Like, nothing was feeling and settling right. So I think when I walked out, you know, in that first moment, it's like it's a real prayer. It's a real moment of, okay, this is it. Like, you know, you've worked as much as you can do, and now you're just gonna have to go for it. And I was in it. You know, I was in the chair. I was walking down the stairs. Like, all of that stuff was, you know, and I've always loved musical theater. So to be able, and I've always loved like Michael Jackson performances and Janet's, which are live, like live performances were
Yes.
so theatrical, and videos were so theatrical. So to actually get to have the opportunity to do my own kind of spin on something like that, I was like, I want to walk down a ramp and and just, you know, live my best life.
Contestants like you were my favorite, who knew what they wanted to do. They had a vision about what they wanted to do musically, what they wanted to do staging wise, and then we just guided. That's all we could do. You know, I mean,
Yeah,
you,
but you guided in the best ways. You know, there was so much support and so much collaboration. You know,
yes,
you didn't feel, as far as, you know, my experience,
yes,
excuse
but
me, with Idol.
you had the experience of season one, two, and one and two, yeah, and three with no live band except for the 1 week on Big Band. You
Right.
had tracks every week, which was
Yeah.
like when I back at that, I was like, how did anybody do it? How did
Well, we
any?
went to Capitol
Yeah,
Record Studio
yeah,
to record a track to it, and then we listened to our track. That was our rehearsal, you know, and you get used to it in that sense. So, you know, now understanding what it's like to perform with a live band, you can't think any other possibility.
right,
But for
right.
me in that moment, it was just like doing, and I think that's the thing that really kept me grounded, you know, with Idol, is that it never went past the fact that I'm doing a talent show. You know, like, I forgot that there were
Right.
bunches of people watching, because we didn't have all the extra accoutrements to make us feel like, you know, we're doing this really grand thing, you know? And so
Yep.
I looked at it every week. Like, the people who were in the audience were the only people who were watching us in my mind, you know? And I
And you
had a really hard time watching the live shows. I mean,
did
watching the
you?
show back.
It's such a learning thing. It's such a great learning tool that, but I understand. I hate watching myself back. I get it, but it is unreal learning that you guys got to watch it back and like see what everybody was saying. You know, like, you know, whatever what the judges said was for TV too. I get it. I get it. But you know, but still, I mean, like that couldn't be a better thing for you. People now today have to like record themselves on their iPhone because they don't have the, you know, the beauty of being on a TV show and with 30 million people watching you.
Right, right.
Crazy.
I mean,
But so
it
no, but my last question about Idol is when did you guys all know in the beginning? I think I've talked to Debbie Williams about this too, stage manager extraordinaire who we
yes,
love.
I love her.
Um, what about like when did you guys know? Like, oh my God, there's something going on here. Oh, my friend Amy Engelberg, she's on Aunt Sue, who I just told, she's the one that said, go work with Tamyra Gray.
Hi.
Call back, call back. She does she and her sister are television writers. Anyway, but here's the thing. So like when did you guys know, oh my God, this is like huge. This is taking off. What are we doing?
It had to be some of the commercials. And really, honestly, I don't think we got the full gist of it until we were voted off.
Really?
Because we were so guarded. We weren't allowed to do anything.
You were in a bubble.
Yeah, our bubble was tight. Nobody was allowed in. We weren't even allowed to make phone calls to our families, you know, in the very early weeks. You know, when my mom came out for the first time and we were allowed to get away, I must have cried and went to Century City Mall and bought every crystal, because by then we were starting to get checks. I went and bought, I got to go away from everybody. I bought every crystal at this place called the Aura Shop, which is one of my now favorite stores, that I could, because I was like, I need some protection. I need some grounding. I need some centering. I need everything. This is crazy. And it wasn't when I was voted off is when I realized just how crazy it was, because I was going to an interview, I think it was with Ryan Seacrest at his studios, and I was being followed. You know, and I was just like, what in the world is happening? Like, do you think I'm like losing my mind? Do you think I'm super, super sad? Like, why am I being chased? My car was being chased. And so that's when it started to hit me. And then people would come up, and, you know, when you're not allowed to leave your bubble, you don't have any idea. And I wasn't watching the news every morning. And then we went on our press tour. You know, when we got voted off, and the top four, that's the thing that I wanted to be. If I was going to be voted off and not make it to the end, 4 was the lucky number, because 4 got to do all the press. Oh, okay. 3, third runner-up, didn't get to do any press because it was all about the first and the second. And it was also time to rehearse the finale. It was time to rehearse the finale. You know, so I was very, 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 you know, it's amazing how things work out, you know, because any other week, and then I wouldn't have wanted to be second. If I'm being honest. I know. I get it. So, you know, when I was voted off, it was just like, this is the right time. There's nothing but opportunity from here. And I was just so, you know, I remember the moment. I remember the boos, which threw me for a loop, because I didn't see that coming at all. You know, and it took me out of my emotion, you know, because I found myself choking up, and then I heard the boos, and I was like, wait, you know, that's not the right spirit. This is what this is. Like, somebody's got to go home, you know, and that was it. That is crazy, because that's, you know, I don't know. I love everything about all those years at Idol, but I think we didn't know back then that if you came in 4th place, you could still have a career and an afterlife, and you know what I mean? We didn't know about that then. No, but I was hopeful. Found out right afterwards that, you don't have to come in first for all the exposure you're getting on this show. Yeah. It's ridiculous. But honey, I appreciate you being here so much, and you know, we've done so many shows together too. And you're my favorite. That's why I call you all the time. You are so talented. I love you. I'm a huge fan of your hubbies. I love your daughter, Sienna. Oh, thank you. We love you. And we worked together a little bit over Christmas, because you were doing the 12. Make sure you follow Tamyra, the Tamyra Gray, and on Instagram, because she posts a lot of fun stuff, and we're gonna get her more active. I'm working on it. I'm working. There's some things in the works. I can't talk about it yet, but they're definitely. I'm you know, life has been full of blessings. Okay, and I love that so much. I think. Oh, is that W.S. Engel? Is that Wendy? Is that my friend Wendy? That she said we love you so much. Like, that's Wendy's Amy's sister, who was like, call Deborah Bird back. You have. Hey, Wendy, thank you. Thank you for knocking some sense into him. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. You are the best. And I love you, my friend.
you nothing but the best of health and everything.
Thank you so much, and to you.
Okay, darling. Well, I thank you everybody for coming today and watching this over later on my Instagram.
Yes.
Okay, now I have to remember how to end it all.
Okay.
This be a very a mess, but okay. Love you, darling.
I love you. Bye.
Oh, now. Oh, I see. End now.